I'm Deepak again. This is our second Facebook Live today. I couldn't resist the temptation because I have a very special guest with me here in my apartment, John Rossant, or Rossant.
That's a pretty good approximation, Deepak.
So how's it?
Rossant.
Rossant. John Rossant. And he's the CEO of the New Cities Foundation. We're going to have a very interesting discussion, so please stay on for the entire conversation, and then we can expand this conversation as we move into the future of well-being, which is, of course, my big interest, as you know. So, John, tell us about the New Cities Foundation.
Well, we're a young international foundation. We were founded 8 years ago, and we bring together a lot of the key stakeholders involved in the future of cities. We, the human beings, have become an urban species,
Yes.
as you know. The good majority of us now live in cities in the world. And so we have to make cities right. And so we're dedicated to the concept that we have to improve our cities, whether they're in India or in China or in the United States or in Luxembourg or wherever. And we have wonderful new technological tools out there to do so. In terms, if you look just in the mobility field, for example, the massive changes in the way we move around cities, thanks to car sharing, electric cars, tomorrow autonomous vehicles,
That's right.
the day after tomorrow flying taxis and drones and things like that. So this changes how we see time and space and movement, etc. So it's very kind of very fundamental things. But as a foundation, we felt for some time that perhaps we've put, when we talk about smart cities, etc., and everybody talks about smart cities, perhaps too much of an accent is put on the technology and the technological solutions, and we lose sight of the fact that we're really talking about how human beings exist with each other. And so, and that's why we're focusing more and more on urban well-being. That in the cities of the future, they have to be good places, balanced places. In fact, in some ways, Jane Jacobs, for example, 30 or 40 years ago, was talking about these sort of well-balanced cities. Jonathan Rose, who has just written a book, a very, very smart guy who writes about cities, called the well-tempered city, with a metaphor from Bach, that you have to have a balance, the way that our bodies have to be balanced and our minds, etc. So we look more and more on the well-being side of things. And that's why in our big annual meeting, which in June in Korea, we meet every year in a different global city, that is the theme, how we can achieve urban well-being.
So I'm in my New York apartment right now, and this is an apartment which is a sustainable apartment, biological sustainability. The air is recycled and is fresh all the time. The floors are posturepedic. The lighting in various parts of this is circadian, so it mirrors the circadian rhythms, as you can not hear. It's quite quiet here.
It's very peaceful.
It's very peaceful because it's soundproof. And there's aromatherapy coming through the walls. And so this is a Delos project, and Paul Shala, Scalia is
Shala, I think.
Shala, Paul Shala. Yeah. He's a very good friend of mine. I'm on his board, and this is what I would consider a well-being building, this apartment where I am. But as some of you know, who come here for daily back and forth with me and exchange of ideas, I am very interested in how well-being in 5 buckets, whether it's well-being in the workplace, career well-being, business well-being, social well-being, which means families and friends that have your back, community well-being, which basically means safety in community, and also less crime and more people involved in volunteering and getting together to improve their communities. Financial well-being and physical well-being are all important. And in the realm of physical well-being, we focus a lot on how technology can help us in 5 or 6 areas. So sleep, stress management, and meditation, movement, yoga and breathing. Number 3, healthy emotions. Number 4, food that comes closer to the source than from a factory, with that food that's not refined, processed, manufactured, doesn't have petroleum products in it, which most manufactured food has, or antibiotics and hormones, because they all affect the microbiome. And recently, a great interest in grounding, how through certain technologies, no matter where you are, you can ground your biology with the earth, which happens naturally when you walk on the earth barefoot or on the beach. But nowadays there are grounding devices. In fact, if you go to Jayo Marketplace, you'll find a lot of these grounding devices that ground your pillow, your sheets, the floor, mats, yoga mats to the ground. And once you do that, negative ions move from the ground into your body, neutralize free radicals, decrease inflammation, get rid of jet lag, and so on. So as I heard about this whole initiative with new cities and, in a sense, smart cities, because you're not only talking about transportation,
Right.
and you're talking about the future of transportation, because right now we are stuck in traffic jams all the time. You're also talking about transportation through drones and so many other means, including automation and driverless cars. But as you said, unless that kind of sustainability, efficient use of energy, the devices that turn on and off, turn off and on the light switches, minimize wastage of electrical power, create an environment that's sustainable, we need to move to the next step, because everything from hospital admissions to crime rate to social unrest is in a way connected to the buckets of well-being
Of course.
I'm talking about. How could we take what you're doing, collaborate, and move to this idea of smart cities, which are not only smart in terms of the technology, but actually can help you monitor your well-being and be a catalyst?
Well, one of the things that we're looking at now, Deepak, at the foundation, is a phenomenon that is very widespread now in India, in China, in Malaysia, particularly in Asia, South Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and that is building cities from scratch. Here in the United States, in North America, and in Europe, for example, we're as fully urban. We're 85% urban, more or less. We're not going to get more urban. But in China and India, where there are this tsunami of populations heading towards urban areas, we need to build new cities. We can't just keep expanding a Bangalore or Delhi or a Shanghai. We have to build cities from scratch. And so the Indian government has a program, the Chinese government has a program, Malaysia is building new cities. So this is a golden opportunity for us, for human beings, to get cities right from the beginning, to bake in some of these concepts of grounding and of public spaces that are peaceful, of
smart homes,
and smart homes, etc. And that's and you mentioned Delos.
Yes.
They're working as a wonderfully innovative company who are working a lot on these kinds of concepts of kind of baking in wellness in the built environment, and it's very, very important. So we have now the opportunity to get that right at scale, which is important.
Okay, so let me take the phone from you, because I want to ask Punacha, who's the CEO. I want to introduce you to Punacha Machaya. He's the CEO, and also he's the co-founder of Jayo.com. At the end of this podcast, we'll add Delos,
Sure.
and we'll add the
link.
URL for Jayo as well. So Punacha, can you tell us what Jayo is? You and I are the co-founders. A lot of our friends actually know about Jayo. Say a few things, because it all kind of dovetails. How do you see Jayo interacting with smart homes, with Delos, and with smart cities.
So one of the things you talk about pillars of well-being, you mentioned the virtual communities, physical spaces, and technology and metrics. I think our goal right now is to create the community online and offline. That's where we're doing work with cities like Lake Nona. We've actually announced a partnership with Beverly Hills, Mayor Lily Bossy. I think Deepak will be there on May 12th, leading a meditation. Our goal is to connect what we call the IoT infrastructure, which is Internet of Well-being, Internet of Things, with the well-being services layer. So where we can provide the citizens with 5 different areas: nourish, move, love, meditate, sleep. In these 5 areas, we want to provide them tools, metrics, because along with technology, we want to give them curated content, curated services. So our goal is to kind of work with cities of the future, communities, infrastructure, public places, and provide very personalized content and services. And that's what Jayo is doing. Our goal is we just started working with Aspen, Lake Nona, Beverly Hills, and also expanding to other corporations globally.
We mentioned grounding, and so grounding is available through Jayo, right?
Yeah, so I think what we also did is that people are looking at where do we find these products, right? Conscious products, sustainable products. So we started working with companies like Grounding. We have also products with dealers, all the stable products. We're going to have them on the Jayo marketplace. We're looking at some very new initiatives like creating water from the atmosphere, working with a company called Sky Water, Sky Source, where we can tap into the humidity in the atmosphere.
That's wonderful.
So anything where we can look at sustainable products and services, we'll have them on the Jayo marketplace. And so that's really, we'll be also launching Jayo Consult next week, where we can have one-on-one consultations virtually, video-based, with well-being experts globally.
Including doctors.
Including doctors.
Okay, so we'll give you the link. And what's our partnership with Delos all about?
So with Delos, we are going to be working with the Delos group on actually as part of the hospitality offering. So we will have, in fact, we'll be announcing a partnership with them called Jayo at Sea, where they will be partnering with cruise ships and cruise lines, where we will be providing well-being services on cruise ships. Also, every time Delos goes into a building or a hospitality, we will provide in-room offering with Jayo. So when you check into a hotel, you can basically get a yoga program, a meditation, or nutrition program provided through Jayo in the rooms.
A lot of people are responding. So Elizabeth Russell says, God bless you. Natalia Tempianova from St. Petersburg says, love you. And on. Look at all these hearts are coming through. And so people are definitely responding. Angela Gonzalez is sending kisses, etc. So Ana Carrazzo says, inspiring to the world, congratulations. I'm going to give you back the camera so we can ask John a few more questions. So, John, you were saying that most of the cities are already built in the United States. So, but do you see a future for smart homes and, in a way, refabricating some of the infrastructure in American cities as well?
Of course. I mean, well, infrastructure, I mean, that's obvious that we need, new and upgraded infrastructure everywhere in the United States, but also all around the world. I just came from Europe yesterday, and I mean, the way the Europeans have surpassed us in terms of their airports and their motorways and
Even
their train
Asia,
systems.
even Asia.
And Asia in particular. I mean,
Malaysia, Singapore, even Indian airports are now, when you land in Los Angeles from an Indian airport, it looks like you're landing in a third world country.
Exactly.
Literally,
You won't get an argument from me. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a future, I think, for smart cities and incorporating the idea of biological sustainability, because we're now talking about environmental sustainability. Did you know, for example, that we spend 90% of our time, our life, on planet Earth indoors? And so whatever age you are, you multiply it by 0.9, that many years you have spent and will spend by the end of your life indoors, and that the data shows that the indoor air quality is worse than the outdoor air quality, even in polluted cities. This is very shocking. That's why it's so important to create these healthy environments. And
no, but there's a huge relation on cognitive functions, and if you're in an office that has not great aeration and lack of oxygen, etc., you will be a less intelligent person and you cannot work and you cannot live to your potential. So it's
It affects everything.
it affects everything, absolutely.
Remember the 6 things I said: sleep, meditation and stress management, movement, exercise, yoga, breathing, healthy emotions, good food, and connecting with the earth, grounding. So tell us a little bit about the foundation itself. What is the ultimate vision or goal about the foundation?
Well, we aim
Is it a non-profit?
It's a non-profit, yes. And our goal is we want to make cities more healthy, more connected, more dynamic, more inclusive. So, I don't know what your favorite city is. I mean, if you have a city that
right now, New York City.
I love New York. I'm a New Yorker.
It,
yeah, it's great. But it has a lot of problems.
It
I mean,
does.
if you look at the great distance between the wealthy and the less wealthy, it's really quite shocking. I mean, when I was growing up here in the 60s and 70s, it really wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. And so we need to address that, I think. That's an issue.
My dream always, even when we started Jayo, is to create a global movement of a critical mass of people for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier and joyful world. But if we are not healthy ourselves, then society is not going to be healthy.
Yes.
And ultimately, as we said, crime and social unrest and leadership, hospital admissions, traffic accidents are all based on how we are feeling.
Absolutely.
And so, do you see any possibilities of collaboration with your foundation, Delos,
Oh, for
Jayo?
sure. Yeah, we'd love to explore that because I think, one of the things that's great about cities is that no one really owns the city. Mm-hmm. It's by nature a collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I think, one of our foundation is based on the idea of collaboration, that the public sector has to work with the private sector, that companies have to work together, even if they compete. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the scale of the city, you need to bring people together around a table and discuss solutions. So of course we're open to that.
So recently, you've probably heard the word emergence many times if you keep up with what's happening in the zeitgeist. And here is what happens. If you have a disparate group of people with different unique talents, a diverse group, be they philosophers, technologists, scientists, humanitarians, people in the movie business, theater, entertainment, education facilities, as diverse as possible. You have an open system, which means anybody and everybody is invited. And you have some kind of shared vision. I shared with you the vision right now. A critical mass of people in the world, all engaging towards a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier and joyful world. If you do that, then the phenomenon that happens is called emergence. There's no ego investment. Everybody's sharing in the same space. They come from a diverse background, education, but also skills and talents. The system is open, and then the vision is actualized through what we call emergence. The vision is actualized through what we call emergence. So when I was filming you, Punacha, a few minutes ago, people were saying, is there any way to get involved either as a volunteer or, tell us a little bit more about how they can get involved? And you should at least mention how they can engage with maybe somebody like Patricia on our
I'll send a link
email. You'll send a link. And then also how they can join Jayo. So let them, tell us what we can do.
I think firstly the website is www.jayo.com. We'll put a link. Also you can send an email to write-to-us@jayo.com. You can also write to me. It's Punacha, POONACHA@jayo.com. So I'll put the links out there. I think we're basically looking for people who want to volunteer to be part of the community, people who want to write content on these different areas like nourish, move, love, meditate, sleep. So I think there are multiple areas where we can participate. We also work, when you work with cities, like you mentioned, nobody owns the city, everybody is part of it. We're looking at people to actually create online and offline programs. So there are multiple ways, and I just saw Norma, who Cardenas from LA, on the chat. So I think we're already working with her in the local community. So bringing together people who are working in schools, working in parks, how can we actually brainstorm and collaborate?
People are saying from all over the world, Budapest, etc., that they want to get involved, and they're saying why not address rural areas too?
Right.
So what do you have to say to that, John?
Well, rural areas, cities can't live by themselves. They need rural areas, and vice versa. Hi there. So, one of the great important topics going forward is the relationship between rural and urban, and I think we have to think that there too we need a balance. That you can't just have an endless extension of the city, and that it takes over everything. So you need to find some of rurality within cities.
Yeah.
You need to find
We're
parks.
getting love from Brisbane, Australia,
Great city.
all over the world. Yeah, Brisbane is a great city. Okay, so you're saying that as we move forward,
Sure.
we should.
And you mentioned, for
extend
example, I think bringing ruralness into the city touches on the food we eat, for example. And one of the important movements that we're seeing now that is aided by new technologies is the rise of urban agriculture. So why in New York City, for example, should we eat carrots that are grown 3,000 miles away in California, if you think about the energy and the gasoline that's needed to bring those carrots to the center of Manhattan?
Tanya, it's Jiyo, Jiyo. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We can perfectly well grow carrots right here on this block in a very efficient manner. Organic, sweet, wonderful carrots. Why shouldn't we do that?
Yeah. Greg says the power of change is in people, not cities. Yes, but we are going to be the people who are going to change.
Exactly.
The
Cities are people. So.
Lisa Bayer, Jiyo, G-I-O, no Lisa, is J-I-Y-O. Laura Clarkley has just posted J-I-Y-O. Okay, finally, how can people once again get involved?
Okay, I think there are basically two ways. One is write to us at jiyo.com to create content along with us. Two is that if you're part of a city, write to us and let us know, and we will basically make you an ambassador of your city to talk to your mayor, talk to your local community, and become a basically champion initiative within your city. So we are trying to make this a movement across cities globally. So basically what would happen is, let's say you're from Brisbane, we'll do brisbane.jiyo.com and become an ambassador, and then kind of talk to your mayor or your community, and we can actually start nurturing these programs as we speak.
Okay. So John, where...
And I would love to link up with Jiyo. And
Yeah,
so
we
I think
should.
there's some obvious synergies that we should explore together. And I urge also your listeners to look at our website, which is www.newcitiesfoundation.org. And please, we'd also love to get you involved as well.
Norma Cardenas, we are the conduit to making cities healthy. And Norma Cardenas, her husband is a congressman from Los Angeles.
Yes.
And they're very enthusiastic about these projects. Tony Cardenas, congressman from LA.
I love LA.
Yeah.
I think it's probably my favorite American city, I have to say. I never thought as a New Yorker I would say
Emily
that.
Morgan says thank you. Lisa Bayer says so awesome. I want to help in Lake Nona, and also please look at Disney's Golden Oak for an opportunity.
Okay.
So Lisa, you can send
post a
an
link.
email to
Punacha.
punacha@jiyo.com. Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll say thank you too. Thank you. And
Thanks, Deepak. Thanks, Punacha.
Let's together move in that direction of a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. It just takes a critical mass of intentionality.
Yes.
And we can reach that now through you, through this interface that we have. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.